guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would finally do a first trimester recap since I am officially 14 weeks and 5 days pregnant today. So I am into the second trimester. I was actually going to film this last Thursday when I hit 14 weeks, and I had a doctor's appointment that day, and I thought I'd give you all an update. And then we have been dog sitting for a friend and had a lot of stuff going on around the house. Randy Kate wasn't in a great mood by the time we got home. There were wrecks. The day was just kind of a very interesting day. Not a fun day for me to film. I filmed one little clip while I was at the doctor's office, and that was it. So we're going to try this again today. Anyways, like I said, I'm officially out of the first trimester. Woohoo! As you already know, we are having a little boy. We are super, super excited. And I just have so many things to share with you about what my first trimester was like this time. There were a lot of differences in this pregnancy with baby boy and my pregnancy with Randy Kate. So there's a lot to share there. And then I'm also going to just run errands while I'm filming today. I need to go to the bank and I need to go pick a couple things up at the store, things like that, because we are getting ready to leave this weekend to go to Walt Disney World, the happiest place on earth, for vacation. And I will be sharing plenty of footage, I'm sure, from that trip because we love Disney World. So with that being said, let's get on the road. I'm going to film this the best I can from where I'm having to sit my camera because it is not the most ideal place. Let me adjust all these mirrors. My husband and I are so like night and day difference with short and tall. Well, he's average, I'm short. That I have to adjust all of this every single time. There we go. Anyway, so some of the updates for pregnancy is with Randy Kate, I had bad morning sickness from about 6 weeks until about 9 weeks, and then just occasional bouts of nausea or vomiting when I would just brush my teeth at night. That was the only time. And I figured out if I took my prenatals at a different time, it balanced that out, so I didn't have to worry about that anymore. Well, that has not been the case. This time, I started getting nauseous around 6 weeks, and it was severe this time. It was bad enough that my doctor's office actually prescribed Zofran for me. And so I went on that. Even with the Zofran, I still fought bouts of nausea, but I wasn't throwing up constantly. But this went on until 12 weeks. So that was rough. And then on top of that, the Zofran actually caused severe constipation, which was terrible. Sorry, there's a little wiener dog running around in my neighborhood that I don't want to hit. That was absolutely terrible. Like, the pain I was in, all I can equivalent it to is contractions, like my early labor contractions. It was terrible. So they finally told me what to get to take for that because of what I was taking. I had taken after I had Randy Kate. The only other time I've experienced it in my life, and only for 1 week, was not working. So they told me what to take for that. That was still miserable even taking something because this lasted from 6 weeks until I want to say it was week 11 when my nausea was getting fewer and further in between, and I stopped Zofran altogether and just dealt with being slightly nauseous. And as soon as I did that and it got out of my system for a couple days, the constipation went away. Another thing is round ligament pain. That did not start as early, like it was into the second trimester with Randy Kate before I started feeling that. This time around, oh my goodness, around like 10 weeks, the round ligament pain started, and it was like, it would shock me. Like, it doesn't hurt, but it was just like shocking and alarming, whereas other than the first time I ever had it, it didn't really like alarm me or shock me with Randy Kate. And what's funny is I went to my doctor's, I believe, the day before I was 10 weeks or the day before I was 9 weeks. I can't remember. And they were like, expect symptoms to start sooner around ligament pain, aches, discomfort, all this. And sure enough, as soon as I hit like 10 weeks, I started feeling around ligament pain. Now, a cool thing I did experience this time, and people can think I'm crazy, right at, 11 weeks on the day, I swear I started feeling flutters. With Randy Kate, I had an anterior placenta. I never felt her move, not even a flutter, until 24 weeks. This time, I swear I felt it at 11 weeks, but I was like, okay, maybe it's just bubbles in my stomach, so I was trying not to hold out. By 12 weeks, I was definitely feeling flutters. Like, I'm not feeling them constantly or anything, but I am definitely feeling flutters. So that is just so reassuring and makes me so happy to be able to feel that earlier this time. So I must not have an anterior placenta. I didn't ask my doctor when she did my last ultrasound, but I'm assuming I don't, because I'm actually feeling him this time. Then another thing is sciatic nerve pain. This actually started right after I found out I was pregnant at 5 weeks. The sciatic nerve pain in specifically my right hip and down my right leg, and then of course just all the way across, like my tailbone. All of that hurt constantly. I could not sit on a hard surface without being in excruciating pain. I was using a heating pad a lot. Now, I'm happy to say around 13 weeks, that stopped bothering me as much. Now it's just if I do something or am bending over for too long and it causes like soreness, I will feel that for a day or so, but it's not 24 hours, day in, day out like it was. And then I'm trying to think of some of the other symptoms. I have them typed down on my phone, but I'm driving, so if I forget any, I'll go over that list here just shortly when I am parked, of things that I have experienced. Fatigue. So I was really fatigued with Randy Kate. I remember that very well. I was pretty much useless. I think it started around 8 weeks with her. I was pretty useless, and Corey was doing everything around the house, helping more with the dog so that I could just come home from work and go to bed. But this time it started earlier. Like, I remember with Randy Kate at 7.5 weeks pregnant, we went to Disney World and were rope dropped to close most days. And I was tired, but you're always tired when you're at Disney. It's called Disney tired for a reason. This time I was that tired just on a normal day. And I don't know if it's just because it was hitting me harder being my second pregnancy, or if it's because I also have an almost toddler. She's still a baby, and I'm gonna keep calling her a baby, to take care of as well. That very well could be the possibility. I know a lot of people talk about they have more fatigue, especially when they have kids close together, because the first one still wasn't sleeping through the night. Well, I don't have that. She's been almost always sleeping through the night since she was 5 months old. So I've got it pretty easy. Before that, it was rough. She did not sleep at all at night. But it was like when it clicked that nighttime was for sleeping for her, it clicked and she would sleep all night. Other than when she's sick. That is like her time that she's going to wake up, which of course she doesn't feel good. Totally understandable. I do the same thing. But, so I'm not tired from that. I think it's just I do have 9 dogs. And then a baby. So, of course, I'm going to be more tired. And then I still have housework to do. And I work a job. So there's a lot of moving plates always in the air for me. But overall, that right about the time I hit 14 weeks, maybe like 14 weeks, 2 or 3 days, like it's a very recent change. Like this week is the first week I finally have energy again. And I'm so glad, because I don't know how I was going to do Disney with how I was feeling 2 weeks ago. I was just so worn down and tired. And we are doing Disney differently this time. We do have a little one that is now to the age where she is not going to fall asleep in the parks. She's super curious. She will stay awake if something interests her. And when she gets overtired, she's like her mama. She gets mean. We don't do well with being overtired, and we don't do well with not getting enough sleep. So with that being said, and with me being pregnant, and it being just hot summer at Disney World in Florida, I don't want her overheated. I don't want to be pregnant and overheated. None of that is actually going to be necessary. So with all of that being said, what our plan is for us to go to the parks early in the morning most days. I think there's one day that we're going to actually wait and go later on in the day. But we're going to go to the parks early in the day, do some rides early, rope drop some rides, and then go back to the house, because we have a rental house, and stay at the rental house for probably 4 or 5 hours. Let her get a good 2-3 hour nap. We'll chill in the pool. This is also really necessary because of one of the dogs at this time, which I will update you with in just a second. And then we'll go back to the park and have dinner and hang out at the park, do some more rides. That'll be when I have things reserved with lightning lanes when we get back, and just enjoy it that way. That way she gets rest and sleep she needs, Mama gets the rest and relaxation that she needs, and we're not just stressed 24/7 with go, 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 with her being so active now. And then another day, I think we're going to wait and go to the park around 1 or 2 o'clock and just hang at the house all morning, or maybe go do something that isn't park related in the morning, because the parade is at 3 o'clock. And she's really at that interactive age where I can't wait for her to see the parade. Like, she's waving and she's clapping, and it's the only parade she's going to get to see while we're there. Now, next time we go, they'll have their new nighttime parade started like that week. Super excited for that. Now, the update on a dog I was going to give you of why we need to go back and be at the house more. The weekend, we got home from work, so Friday night, and I had put some of the dogs outside. I put our puppy Silver outside. I was standing out there with them. Randy Kate was getting fussy. I was like, okay, I'm gonna run her in, sit her down, then I'll come back out here. I got over to the chair to sit her down, and right outside the window where I was standing, I heard Silver yelping. I yelled for Corey, Doggy 911, which is our code for get down here fast, something's seriously wrong. And I put Randy Kate down and I darted out the door. And I found Silver underneath one of the chairs. She couldn't put any weight on her one leg. So we took her we monitored her and took her, at first I thought it was a sprain, and I was like, I'm not sure. Took her to the vet, and they did an x-ray, and she does have a fracture at her elbow. So really, her leg is broken. And this is the first broken bone I've ever had with any of my dogs. I could have just bawled and cried my eyes out, because she's just a baby and she doesn't get it. But the vet did tell us it's good that this happened while she was so young. When they did the x-ray, they saw that her bones were still aligned. So they said they didn't recommend surgery, that they wanted to splint it for 4 to 6 weeks, preferably 6 weeks. And with her being so young, because she's only 4 months old, that they expect it to completely heal on its own, which is wonderful. But I am so sad for her, because she's a very active dog breed, and she's used to a lot of exercise, and she's used to us playing with her a lot, and she's used to playing with Randy Kate and playing with the cat and going to work. So she is completely crated right now unless she's being held. Her splint cannot get wet at all. We've had a hard time wrapping it, and we can't take her out on a leash to go to the bathroom because she wants to rear up and jump down on that leg, which they told us she cannot do. So pretty much I'm keeping towels in her crate. I put her in a little bit bigger crate so that she has a little more space to turn around and be able to, like, if she does have an accident, which she's going to since she can't go out, she doesn't have to lay in it or get it on her. And I go in there, I keep a camera on her all the time, so unless I'm not home, I go in there immediately, clean up after her. She's going to work with us still every day so that I can take care of her there. I'm making sure she gets plenty of food, making sure she gets plenty of water, and then several times a day I take her out of the crate. She can't run around and play, but I can hold her, I can pet her, I can give her kisses, she can give me kisses. So doing the best we can to take care of her under these awful circumstances. We're still not 100% sure what happened. Our camera outside did not pick up those dogs for some reason. I'm thinking one of the dogs got to running outside and Silver ran out in the way, and they couldn't stop fast enough and ran into her and just hit her just right, which the vet said would not be hard to do. So I'm heartbroken that it happened. We've had multiple dogs now have surgeries. We've had 2 dogs have surgery, and then I'm considering Silver's like a surgery because her recovery is about the same as if she would have had surgery. She wouldn't be able to run around. She wouldn't be able to do any of the things either. And Dallas's, while it was sad, his was a very easy recovery. He was recovered in like 2-3 weeks. He did really well. The 2 worst dog injuries I've had have been Heidi Nan when she got attacked and had surgery, and it was a 4 to 6 week recovery, and Silver. I think Silver's is actually sadder. It's not as scary because she's not, 7-8 years old, which Heidi Nan was when she got hurt. So it's not as scary, but it's even more sad because she is a puppy. Heidi, I was able to put in her crate and she would just lay down, chill. She didn't really care. And I did the same thing with her. I'd get her out and hold her several times a day. But Silver's a puppy. She's got a lot of energy. Once they put her on some pain medicine, she did not care. She wants to get out and she wants to run and she wants to play, and she doesn't understand that we can't let her do those things because we're having to protect her. So that's really hard. Anyways, I know I've totally got off the topic of first trimester recap. Sorry about that. So let's get back on it. I have a bump already. Not a super big bump, but I was not bumping with Randy Kate like noticeably until maybe 22-ish weeks, 22 to 24 weeks is when I feel like when I look back at photos, I could really see the bump. Maybe slightly. We'll go with 18. We'll go with 18 weeks because I think I had a slight bump you could see. Otherwise, I had to like point it out and like I could notice it, but nobody else could notice it. Now, I can still wear t-shirts, like bigger, baggier t-shirts or sweatshirts and cover it up, but for the most part, if I'm wearing something that actually fits me right, you can tell that I'm pregnant. My family actually doesn't know yet. Everybody else knows. You all know. My in-laws know. All of our friends, our church family know. But my grandparents are very much, they just care about work. And I don't see them outside of work. They don't make any effort to see us outside of work. So, which I'm not gonna lie, like it hurts because I feel like they only care about my daughter at work and they don't have a relationship with her outside of that. They also weren't super excited when we told them about Randy Kate. I don't know if that was the way it was meant to be or if that's just the way it came across, but their response was, I already knew that. And so this time, like, they stressed me out so much with my pregnancy with her. All they were worried about was how much time I was taking off of work, that I just don't want to tell them. And also, my grandmother has always preferred boys over girls. She did not want girls. She had 2 girls. Not that she didn't love her kids, but she wanted boys. Out of her grandkids, she has 1 grandson and 2 granddaughters, and there is a difference shown. Like, not in what we're given, but in how treatment is done. He is always going to be the angel, and I am really afraid that when she finds out I'm having a boy, everything's going to be about my son, and she's going to forget about my daughter. And I already don't feel like she has any relationship with my daughter outside of when we're at work. Like, she has seen my daughter on Christmas Eve, my birthday last year, and when we've gone over there when she was a few months old for me to go hunting. That is it. She has never called outside of work and asked, hey, can I come see her? Nothing. Which is sad and disappointing because my husband's grandparents, even though his grandmother's passed away now, they are not that way. Like, his grandfather came to our baby dedication and parent dedication at church, and he came to our gender reveal and all of that stuff, which of course they couldn't come to the gender reveal because they didn't know I was pregnant, or they don't know I'm pregnant. But it's just one of those that she commented on my weight a lot, and there was just a lot of comments and a lot of digs at whether they were meant to come across the way they did or not. They hurt and they stressed me out. I am so much more relaxed this pregnancy, not having to worry about them knowing. I also know that they're going to have a lot of comments about, you shouldn't have 2 under 2. That's not a good idea. What were you thinking? It's what we want. We want multiple kids, and we want them all close together. We're talking like 4 kids probably, and I want 4 kids in 6 years. I want to be done by 30. I don't want to be having kids at 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, so on and so forth. So we just have not told them. So that, I don't know, we're not planning really on telling them after how they responded to my being pregnant before. I'm thinking just when they eventually ask me about it, because you can see a bump, that I'll tell them. Now, if they haven't said something by like 6 months, I'm gonna have to say something, because I'm gonna have to take off when I have this baby, and that's a whole nother situation. Like, I'm gonna see if I can go back to working full-time from home like I did for years from another state. And if not, we're really talking about my just not going back to work, because I take Randy Kate with me. I can't take 2 under 2 to the office with me. I will never get anything done, especially with her being at the age of wanting to get into everything. So either I'll be working from home full time and going in just a couple times a month to do stuff that needs to be done in the office that I can't do from home, just like I did when I lived in another state, or I won't be returning to work at all. So that is a decision we have made in the first trimester. I'll discuss that with them once they know that I am pregnant. I'm hoping to be able to keep my pregnancy quiet from them until 5 months. I don't care if it's until I'm at the end of 5 months, beginning of 5 months, but 5 months is what I'm hoping. And I am 4 months pregnant now, so I am hopeful that that will be a real possibility of keeping things quiet that long. I just have to make it until 20 weeks. And I'm almost 15, and we're out of town next week for the entire week. So I will be 16 and a half weeks when we go back to work. So I really won't have to keep it hidden for that much longer. It is hard to keep it hidden in the summer because I'm having to wear big t-shirts, like extra larges or some of my husband's t-shirts. But you know, you do what you got to do to keep your peace. And I'm not as stressed out this time. I'm not as worried about what anybody's going to say this time. I'm just focusing on me, my little family, our animals, which is a huge part of our family, and our inner peace, and being a good mom, doing all the things that I can with Randy Kate while she's an only child. I'm so excited for her to be a big sister, but it's a little sad to know that her days of being an only child are coming to an end before she really even knew they began. Like, she's just now getting to where she's playing and doing all the things, but she can't comprehend, oh, I'm an only child. Oh, I get to go to Disney all the time because of this, or oh, we get to do this because I'm an only child. She's not old enough to comprehend any of that. And at the same time, I'm glad she won't remember it, because all she will ever remember is having a sibling to love and to play with and to care about. And that's really special. It's something I did not have growing up, and I'm really glad that it's something I'm guaranteeing her to have. I'm kind of rambling, so I am going to run my first errand, see if I can think of anything else for a first trimester recap. I'll check my notes when I stop, and then I will film a little bit more, because I'm trying to not make this video too long and rambly. Okay, so now that I am back home, I had to stop and do some work stuff while I was out as well. I had to pull over and do some stuff on my laptop. I can go over the rest of my first trimester symptoms that I just couldn't think of off the top of my head. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. I'm still sneezing like crazy. My allergies are awful, but they've gotten a lot better than they were in the beginning of my pregnancy. And all that I can take that actually works for me is Benadryl. I can't take my prescription allergy medicine. Over-the-counter, Claritin, Zyrtec, none of that stuff works for me. So my doctor told me in my last pregnancy that I could take Benadryl, just, you know, not to overdo it. So that's what I did when my eyes were so bad that they would itch to the point I just want to claw them out. They would be swollen shut. I would do allergy eye drops, and none of it helped. That lasted for 2 or 3 weeks, where I had to take Benadryl every single day. I would take 2, like, once a day. So yeah, that was the symptom. That's not even on my list. Okay, so in week 4, I noticed, before I even found out I was pregnant, that I was experiencing some cramping, and that's very common in the beginning of pregnancy. I was also super, super thirsty, very bloated. Like with Randy Kate, I don't remember, like I remember low bloating, but not a ton. I looked like I did at 14 weeks pregnant at 4 weeks this time, and it was just all bloating. And then, of course, constantly peeing. I was easily drinking 96 ounces of water a day, so I was peeing a lot. Then week 5, nothing really different. Week 6, I already mentioned my morning sickness, fatigue, constipation, sciatic nerve pain, but then I was also just really uncomfortable. It didn't matter how I was sitting, it didn't matter what I was doing, it didn't matter how you touched me. I was just uncomfortable 24 hours a day. Then we move on to week 8, really the same as week 6, plus really bad mood swings. I forgot about that part. Really, really bad. Like the pregnancy rage that I have this time is insane. Like, I feel like I was nicer and calmer when I was pregnant with Randy Cake. And this time, and this is what really made me like say like I'm having a boy, was because like emotionally I felt so different this time. And then my blood test came back and it was like boy, so mama's intuition was right this time. And then lower back pain. I had a lot of lower back pain in week 8. I don't remember when exactly that went away. I know it went through like week 10, but I haven't taken notes from week 10 up until now because things kind of tapered off a little bit. Praise you, Jesus. But anyways, week 10, everything the same as week 8. I do have a note on here that I was less nauseous, but I was still nauseous, which is right before I came off of Zofran at 11 weeks. And then the round ligament pain that I already mentioned started. So that is all around my first trimester pregnancy recap. And I have some stuff I need to get done here around the house, so I'm not going to keep this video going. Riley, what are you doing? What are you doing, Riley? But anyways, I've got a doggy down here wanting attention. I have got to get some stuff done around the house. I'm hoping to film a clothing haul for little Miss Randy Kate for some clothes that she got over the weekend. I did not buy them. It was all compliments of my mother-in-law. But I'm going to try to get that filmed here shortly. I've got to run upstairs and take care of Silver, change out her bedding. I'm sure it needs to be changed since I just got home. I already ran up there and gave her medicine. Yeah, so we are going to end this here. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you haven't already, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and become part of my YouTube family. And feel free to follow me over on Instagram. It's at Mama Rebecca Loggins, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.